You can never have a baby for my son. You can never have a baby for my son.
Once upon a time in Bussorah, a green African hinterland, lived Adanna'S, a beautiful woman who was known for being good and charming. Adanna'S was always happy and smiling, and her eyes were sparkling. She didn't have a husband or a family of her own, so her life was peaceful but boring. When Django, a hardworking farmer from Bussorah, asked her to marry him, things started to change. Django lived a simple life and thought deeply. His respect for Adanna'S grew as he watched her over the years, and it turned into a deep love. Seeing Adanna'S kind heart and pure character, he thought she was the right partner he had been looking for in a wife. Adanna'S quickly gave her approval when she got the proposal because she was moved by Django's sincerity. Their wedding in Bussorah turned into a happy event. The locals celebrated with Django and Adanna'S as they got married in a traditional way. After the happy event, they both moved into a simple house on the edge of the town, surrounded by bright flowers. They had no idea that an unwanted guest would soon be coming to ruin their perfect marriage. Django's elderly mother, Wima, chose to pay them a surprise visit a few weeks after they got married. As a child, Django lost his father, so he had no living relatives. Because of this, he invited Wima into his home and promised her a place to stay until she died. As the years went by, Wima's face got more and more wrinkled, like a map of a life spent mostly alone. Being alone had made her bitter over time, and she had an uncanny ability to control people and events. Only a day or two had gone before Wima gained control of their small dwelling, reducing Adanna'S to nothing more than a piece of machinery that she could use at her whim. She quietly replaced Django's judgments with her unfair influence, blinding him to her evil. The first thing Wima did to take back control of their family life was to cast a spell on Django. Wima was very good at working with magic because she came from a long line of sorcerers. Her strong magic kept Django from realizing that she was wrongdoing and making abusive demands on Adanna'S. Wima, the goddess of evil, became too mean to Adanna'S. She treated her like a housekeeper instead of the daughter-in-law she was because she could. Adanna'S felt lost and cheated because she didn't know that her husband was under a spell, but she didn't get back at the old woman because she respected them. Unfortunately, Adanna'S was stuck in a confusing spiral of pain and couldn't find a moment of peace in her own home. Still, her unwavering spirit never wavered. Due to her natural stubbornness, she did what Wima asked, which included scrubbing and washing, cleaning and cooking, and running a lot of chores all day while pretending to be friendly. The once happy home was now surrounded by the dark rule of Wima. In the midst of challenging circumstances, a pleasant surprise was on the horizon for Adanna'S. She happily learned that she was expecting Django's baby. The confirmation of her impending motherhood brought a ray of hope in her challenging life. It brought a ray of light to the otherwise dull picture of her life. Yet, Wima's never-ending torment overshadowed this fleeting happiness. Her health began to be impacted by the mounting work pressure. Adanna'S came to the realization that the demanding atmosphere, combined with constant hard work, was not suitable for her or her unborn baby. So, she made the decision to seek a change, a break from the oppressive environment of Wima. One evening, Adanna'S excitedly told Django that she had made up her mind to visit her maternal house in the neighboring village of Kejoni. She mentioned wanting a break from the ongoing chaos and transitioning to a calmer setting as her pregnancy advanced. Despite the influence of the manipulative Wima, his affection for his unborn child compelled him to accept her proposal. Adanna'S began making preparations for her upcoming trip. Being able to spend a few weeks away from Wima together with her maternal family brought a sense of comfort. She yearned for this brief time off from her daily struggle. What she didn't know, however, was that Wima had dark motives. Little did Adanna'S know, Wima was secretly listening in on their conversations with great interest. Her natural fear of losing control over Adanna'S caused her to disregard reasonable boundaries. Upon hearing about Adanna'S pregnancy and her upcoming visit to Kejoni, Wima couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Wima felt a sense of danger when she considered the possibility of Adanna'S gaining any kind of advantage over her through her maternity. Feeling uneasy about losing control while Adanna'S was away, she made up her mind to prevent Adanna'S from leaving. As darkness fell over Bussorah, Wima's nefarious plans began to germinate in the background. As Adanna'S peacefully slept after a long and tiring day, completely unaware of the devious scheme being concocted against her, Wima set out on her wicked plan. They wanted to keep Addanna within the confines of their shared home. Wima was determined to come up with a plan that Addanna would never see coming or be able to evade. In the peaceful stillness of the night, bathed in the gentle moonlight, Wima began crafting a special mixture meant to weaken Addanna, rendering her unable to embark on her journey. Wima's cunning plan began to unfold as she devised a scheme to undermine Addanna's efforts and ensnare her in a never-ending cycle of trouble. With the start of the next day, Addanna had new dreams. She had no idea that someone was planning something bad to happen to her. Addanna started her daily tasks as soon as the sun hit the wooden roof of their simple home in the morning. At the same time, she was getting ready for her trip to Kejoni. In the middle of her walk around noon, Addanna had a scary feeling of dizziness. She ignored it because she was just tired and kept working on her jobs. Unfortunately, her health got worse over time, which made her very sad. Her day was ruined by recurring episodes of dizziness and weakness that made her look pale and out of breath. As the evening sun went down, Addanna felt like she was shaking with a fever that she couldn't explain. Wima thought the plan was going exactly as she had thought it would. Addanna's ability to move around was limited. From the corner of her eyes, Wima watched Addanna's situation and pretended to be worried while sneakily adding her poisonous mixture to Addanna's food. Addanna, who was blissfully unaware, ate Wima's said healing soups, which fed the evil charm that was already running through her. The next week showed that Addanna's health was getting worse. Her hopeful glow faded and was replaced by a disturbing pallor. She was stuck in her house because she was constantly feeling dizzy and tired, which made her lose her will to go to Kejoni. Her hopes for a short-term safe place to stay seemed incredibly impossible right now. Addanna was very sad when her mother in Kejoni heard that her health was getting worse. The worried parent ran to Busora because she thought the worst would happen to her daughter and her unborn baby. When she got there, she saw a weak Addanna and a Wima who looked like she was worried. Her maternal feelings picked up on Wima's fakeness right away, but she chose to focus on nursing Addanna back to health. The changing of the days didn't make Addanna's health better. Wima's caregiving was inconsistent, and her situation didn't improve. She was chained to her bed and couldn't move. Unfortunately, Wima's sneaky steps caught Addanna and tied her to the roots of her marital home, a house that was now nothing but a jail for her. Django was trapped next to her by a force he didn't understand, as he was also under Wima's control. On the other hand, Wima was proud that she had carried out the plan so well and kept Addanna locked up in her concealed safe haven. Because she was mean, she kept taking care of Addanna's weakness, which fed her deceptive tactics. Addanna's mother, Nia, was an insightful woman with a knack for discerning truth from deceit. Her instinctive suspicion towards Wima gnawed at her conscience. After carefully observing the dynamics at home, she decided to silently investigate Wima's activities. Over the following days, Nia vigilantly analyzed Wima's behavior. One night, she stumbled upon Wima quietly preparing a concoction in the dim light of the kitchen. She observed from a distance as Wima stealthily added the unfamiliar brew to Addanna's dinner. Realizing her daughter's plight, Nia was enveloped in fear and disgust. Yet, she mustered the courage to put an end to Wima's wicked games. Without alarming Wima, Nia replaced Addanna's meal with a fresh plate, sparing Addanna from consuming any more of the harmful concoction. As Addanna's health stopped declining, Nia chastised Wima in the presence of the village elder, revealing her conniving strategies. Much to their surprise, Django remained discordantly indifferent, evidently under Wima's enchantment. Observing his unusually impassive demeanor, Nia unraveled Wima's complete ploy, recognizing that Django was also bewitched. Unable to bear the torture inflicted on her daughter and unborn grandchild, she consulted the village shaman. Known for his ancient wisdom and mystical prowess, the shaman agreed to break Wima's spell. The shaman, accompanied by Nia, arrived at their house. With a congregation of villagers as witnesses, he performed an elaborate ceremony. As the rhythm of the ritual drum echoed through the silent night of Busora, he freed Django from Wima's spell. A tangible sense of clarity returned to Django's eyes. The echo of the unveiling truth sent shockwaves throughout the village. The community exiled Wima for her heinous crimes, sending her away with just the bare essentials. As the villagers parted ways with Wima, they pledged their support for Addanna and Nia, promising to stand by them in the upcoming testing times. Meanwhile, Nia assured a bewildered Django that the community was united to bring Addanna back to radiant health. The village rejoiced over the downfall of women's tyranny and pledged to correct the wrong she had inflicted upon their beloved Adanna'S. Life in Busora gradually began regaining its harmonious rhythm. Adanna'S, under the care of Nia and the devoted villagers, slowly started recovering. Embracing his wife's condition bravely, Django stepped up to take responsibility for his past ignorance. Unfazed by the adversities in their path, the village began nursing Adanna'S back to health, praying for her and her unborn child's well-being.
Adanna'S awoke on a sunny morning in Busora, her first morning after being freed from Wima's vile concoction. The sunshine seemed a little brighter, the surrounding air a tad fresher. Support poured in from all corners of the village. Her mother, Nia, made nourishing meals for her. Django, on the other hand, bathed her with utmost care, showering her with the affection she'd missed in her married life. The village community put forth a united front to revive Adanna'S health. They organized gatherings to comfort and entertain her, shared their food to supplement her nutrition, and offered optimistic words that uplifted her spirits. Adanna'S found solace in their nurturing camaraderie, which was a stark contrast to her isolation under Wima's dominance. As the everyday cheer of the villagers echoed around Adanna'S, she began to regain her strength. Her belly swelled with the promise of a new beginning, her unborn child seeming to thrive with the renewed positivity around them. As moon cycles closed into a circle, the village of Busora brimmed with eager joy. The day everyone had been eagerly awaiting had arrived. Adanna'S, surrounded by the women of the village, went into labor. Under the watchful eyes of Nia, the village midwife, and the nurturing hands of the supportive women, Adanna'S brought a new life into the world. The birth of Adanna'S and Django's son was celebrated with great fanfare. The air was filled with the tender cries of the newborn and the joyous laughter of the villagers. The baby, innocent and pure, was the symbol of Adanna'S strength, a testament to her resilience and will. A beacon, promising a future devoid of Wima's shadows and filled with love and hope. Django, now a proud father, held his son in his arms with a newfound sense of respect for Adanna'S. He vowed to protect his family from harm, stepping up as the shield they never had. The chapter of Wima's tyranny had been closed for good. Adanna'S finally tasted the serenity of a peaceful existence she deserved. The struggles of her past were slowly replaced by the joys of her present, embraced by the love of the villagers, the warmth of her mother, the newfound affection from Django, and the innocent coos of her newborn son. Life in Busora went back to its rhythmic routine, with one significant change. The way everyone looked at Adanna'S had altered. She was no longer seen as just a wife, a pregnant woman, or a victim of Wima. She was celebrated as a warrior, a symbol of courage, strength, and resilience. Busora experienced a transformative journey, unraveling emotions ranging from vicious betrayal to inspiring triumph. The humble life of Adanna'S was a saga representative of the strength and spirit of every woman who had ever faced adversity. Adanna'S embodied the spirit of a fighter, emerging victorious from a battle she hadn't even known she was part of. She conquered each adversity with undeniable grace and resilience, inspiring every inhabitant of Busora. Her life was inextricably woven into the fabric of the village. Her story was their story, the silent sufferer and the triumphant survivor. Django, once under the deceptive control of Wima, later emerged as a supportive husband and a responsible father. His journey was one of redemption and realization, a testament to the power of love over evil spells. Nia, the vigilant mother, became the pillar of strength that held the family together through the storm, leading Adanna'S towards light with her courage and wisdom. She stood as a beacon of hope and resilience, illuminating their path through the darkest times. In the heart of Busora, Adanna'S story evolved into a tale of hope, resilience, and the power of unity. It taught the villagers the importance of community and compassion, proving once again that evil falls and good eventually triumphs. The villagers welcomed the dawn of the new day, not merely as the passage of time, but as a symbol of a new beginning, a dawn that came after a long, harsh night. The chorus of their laughter echoed through the vast stretches of Busora, where the sun painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold. The charm of unity, care, and resilience rang loud in the heart of Africa, crafting a tale that will be carried through generations, the tale of Adanna'S, the resilient warrior of Busora. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our newest uploads on African literature, arts, and heritage too. Join our community today and explore the beauty and diversity of Africa with African Folklore 22.